What is up, guys? I really wanted to use this time for the next video on my channel after like Base Canyon to be about my Black Cat cosplay, my Riddler cosplay, my apartment reveal, but I need to just get something off my chest and I need coffee for this. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Okay, Costco. I just returned from Costco, as in like just returned from Costco. My shoes are still on. I never really thought I'd have beef with Costco, but I guess there is a time and a place for every little thing on this planet. I would also like to remind you guys, I don't hate Costco. Story time. This all stems from the fact that a friend of mine and I were supposed to go to Costco together. We have been planning to go to Costco for 3 weeks where we were going to act as a couple just so we could try samples, and we were gonna buy like 5-pound bags of trail mix. That was our plan. That was my plan, at least. I don't know about him, but that was my plan. So 3 weeks passed, I actually have a shopping list, and I'm like, you know what? I really do need to go to Costco. Plans fell through, we wound up not being able to go to Costco together, so I asked my grandmother if she will go to Costco with me, and she accepts, and I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, I have not been to a Costco since I lived in Alaska. The last time I went to a Costco, I was probably 19 years old. That was a hot minute ago, like pre-COVID. So the first thing when we get there, I'm like, I'm feeling good, you know? I'm like, I cannot wait to go to Costco. I'm actually excited to go to Costco because it's been so long since I've been there. We get inside, I'm like, okay, you know, like everything's like super big, everything's like kind of spread out. The first thing I see, Christmas trees in the middle of September. I'm like, you know what? Okay, that's not bad. Some people like to do their holiday shopping early. That's not even what I'm upset about. I just kind of noticed that and was like, huh, that's weird. Anyway, so my grandmother, she decides that I should get my own shopping cart. And immediately I'm like, oh, you want to separate? And she goes, well, yeah, you need your own stuff and I need mine. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. This woman books it to the other side of the store before I can even turn around. So I am abandoned in Costco the second we walk in the door. That's her outside telling my grandfather the story of how I got lost in Costco. First few minutes, I'm okay. You know, I'm doing my own thing. I'm walking through the aisles. I notice very quickly that they do not have signs signifying which aisles have what items. You know how like they'll have like the aisle number and they'll have like a list of like the basics? None of the aisles had that. They just had giant sections that said like bakery, frozen, produce. And I'm like, that's reasonable. But also, they have like the kitchen appliances right next to like the wine aisle. I got lost in the wine aisle for a hot second. I honestly considered buying a bottle of Pinot Grigio. I do not drink white wine. It was a very confusing time for me. So I wind up in the bakery section. Mind you, nothing on my shopping list is from the bakery section, but I did not know what to do, so I bought myself 12 muffins. I continue going in and out, you know, in the food section, like the produce, the meats, the coolers, stuff like that. Another thing I noticed is that there were not very many samples, which that's totally fine. I was honestly a little anxious and I wasn't really looking forward to the samples at that point. It was just something I noticed. My friend, on the other hand, might have been disappointed because that was literally the whole basis for our trip in the first place. So I'm making my way through the toilet paper and the napkins. I wind up going into the cooler section. I did not know there were so many varieties of giant frozen burritos. They have everything at Costco. And that was, I think, a little more overwhelming because of the fact that I was like, wow, there's like 11 different brands for this one kind of honey. And then you look to the next shelf and there's like 11 different brands for honey, but like a different kind of honey. It was just an experience. That's not even the worst part. So I'm like, going through my shopping list, trying to find the things that I need to buy, right? Costco did not even have half of the things that I needed on my shopping list. And they weren't even like outlandish things. They were literally like simple home things. Like I was looking for a broom. I could not find a broom in Costco. Not even that. I was looking for like face moisturizer, like face cream. I was looking for, what else was I looking for? I had my shopping list around here somewhere. And even the face creams they did have, I'm talking like all they had were like the name brand, like little tiny like 3 fluid ounce jars. They had like 2 of them in a package for like $36. And I'm like, when I go to Costco, I'm expecting to buy like a gallon of face cream for like 20 bucks. I don't care if it's name brand or not. Just give me a gallon of face moisturizer for $20. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like 2 little tiny capsules for $18. That's not what I need, you know? It's Costco. You buy in bulk. Times have changed. So I'm like literally looking for like socks, just simple socks, you know? And I was told they have socks at Costco, which they do, but the only socks they were selling at this point in time in the middle of September were wool winter socks and slipper socks. It is 78 degrees outside in the middle of the desert. I don't need wool socks in the middle of September. I just wanted crew cut socks, like an 18 pack of crew cut socks. They did not have. And to make matters worse, I got more anxiety trying to steer a shopping cart in Costco than I have ever gotten driving on the freeway. I'm not even joking. So like by the end of our trip, I finally find my grandmother, right? We are trying to get into line so that we can check out, right? There's like 4 registers open and each line is like expanding into like the middle like end caps, you know? And so we're like, oh, maybe we should go to self-checkout. I used to work in retail. I used to work at Lowe's. It was an excellent job. Self-checkout sucks, no matter if you're a customer or an employee. So when we go to self-checkout, I'm standing there waiting for my grandmother to get boxes for us to put all of our items in. And the 3 employees are like, ma'am, there's a register open over here. I'm like, thank you. And they're like, there's a register open. I'm like, thank you. And they keep saying, number 10, number 4, like just giving me numbers of registers that are opening up. And I'm like, I'm waiting. And they're like, well, this register is open. I'm like, I know, I literally cannot physically do anything until this woman finds the box she wants. So I'm standing there and people in line behind me are like walking to the registers. I'm like, yes, please go. Like, I am not in any hurry to do this right now. My grandmother comes back with 2 boxes, one for my things, one for her things. My first mistake was putting the box on the scale. That machine starts screaming at me to take the box off the scale. Mind you, it didn't do that until I had already scanned my first item. So I take the box off the scale, I put it on the floor. I take the bag of granola that I had just scanned, I put it in the box. Machine starts screaming at me, put your scanned item on the scale. I take the bag of granola, I put it back on the scale. Machine starts screaming at me to take the unscanned item off the scale. So I do that, I grab bag of granola, I pull it off the scale, machine goes quiet. I'm like, okay, so I put the granola back in the box. I don't understand the logic. Reach into my cart, grab a bag of trail mix. I scan the trail mix, I put the trail mix on the scale. Machine starts screaming at me again to put my scanned items back on the scale. So I take the granola out of the box, put it back on the scale. All of a sudden the machine shuts down and says, system error, employee on the way. And I'm like, standing here with a bag of granola and a bag of trail mix in each hand, looking around for an employee. Meanwhile, my grandmother is at the stand next to me, just casually scanning her items, like she does this once a month, which she does. So she could have been helping me this entire time, and that woman left me to drown. So the employee comes over, finally, and he goes, what happened? And I'm like, I literally don't know, my guy. And so he goes, oh, you can't put the box on the scale. I'm like, the box is on the floor. I'm holding the stuff that's supposed to go on the scale. And he's like, it's okay. Let me just do my little boop, boop, boop. And he does. And he goes, okay, you can put those in the box. I'm like, okay, I can put these in the box. And he's like, yeah, I put them in the box. And the machine starts yelling at me to put my skin items on the scale again. So I lifted them out of the box and I put them back on the scale. And then I finally continued scanning the rest of my items. I only bought 7 things at Costco and it was $83. I am not even joking. Look at that. 7 items sold and it was $83. I pull my cart. I'm waiting for my grandmother to finish scanning her items. I help her put her stuff in her cart like the good granddaughter that I am. We are on our way out the door. I decide, hey, do you mind if I stop by the food court? And my grandmother's like, yeah, sure. They no longer sell parfaits at Costco. When I tell you, my mood dropped tenfold. They do have Sundays. Those are not the same thing. So my grandmother is like, are you gonna buy anything? And I'm like, no, I'm just really bummed out. Like, they don't have the parfaits. And she goes, well, they have hot dogs. And I'm like,
bombastic side eye.
But that's not a parfait. We make our way toward the exit. I happen to notice people searching their bags, getting things out of their carts, looking for their receipts. I glance at my grandmother, and she too has her receipt in her hand. I look to the exit. There are people standing at the exit waiting to take people's receipts. Guess what I left at self-checkout?
Because I didn't know that I needed my receipt.
So I am scrambling to look in my purse, look in my pockets, in the middle of the line, telling my grandmother I don't know where my receipt is. And she was like, they will not let you leave without your receipt. And I was like, I just spent $83 on 7 food items. Like, what am I doing? What, they're not going to let me take my things. And she's like, no, you need your receipt. So I do the walk of shame back to self-checkout, all the while trying not to look people in the eye or bump into people who are looking at their phones, pulling out of the registers. I get back to self-checkout, and there is the employee holding my receipt like this, looking around. I just kind of walk up to him, and this other lady, she also works here, she goes, hey, is that your receipt? And I looked at her and I was like, ma'am, I really hope so. So the guy hands me the receipt, and I look over it, and he's like, is this yours? And I'm like, yeah, thank you. I turn around, and I run back to the front, where my grandmother is just standing there off to the side, waiting for me to return. So I get there, I get my cart, I get all my items, I get in line with my grandmother. We finally get to the exit, and this lady takes my receipt, and she looks at me, and she just kind of puts a blue line through it or something, and she goes, I hope you have a nice day. And I looked at her and I was like, thank you. And I walked out, and that experience has traumatized me from Costco. And you know what I think it is? A lot of it is because I am a single woman living by myself. I don't need Costco. What am I going to do with a 60-pack of Rice Krispies and an 80-pack of freaking deodorant? Like, what am I gonna do with that? I don't have children to provide for. I don't have a man who eats me out of house and home like I wish he would. I don't understand why I thought going to Costco would be a good idea. I am very happy with Walmart and Winco and affordable things. But now I've got a 3-pound bag of granola, a 5-pound bag of trail mix. I have 720 baby wipes sitting in the back of my car, and I didn't get to eat a parfait at the end of this to make anything better. Again, no hate to Costco. It is just not for me, and probably not for single people either. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to How to Be Single 101. Conclusion, Galaxy Mari does not belong in Costco. Also, I really do plan on doing more videos. I just moved into my new apartment, so a lot of my videos will kind of include more of like an apartment reveal, because I'll probably be filming like in different rooms of the apartment. I've got a lot of cosplays coming up, especially because Halloween is on the way. We are about a month away from Halloween, so I'm very excited to be showing you guys the cosplays that I've actually been making. Like, I physically stitched these things together. I did a whole photo shoot this weekend with my friend Sarah. You guys have seen her on the channel before, so I'm very excited to show you guys that on my social media. I'll drop a couple pictures at the end of this video so you guys can kind of see what it's gonna look like. I do have a couple more cosplays coming. I just haven't really had time with working so much. I work 6 days a week now. I haven't really had time to work on a lot of things, so it's kind of just like finding a few hours within the day. But anyway, thank you guys so much for your patience. Thank you for going through this with me. I wish you guys could have been there. I kind of needed my support because my grandmother abandoned me in the aisles of Costco. It's not the first time she's done that, actually. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.